Please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share your insights in the comments section, and subscribe to keep up with our newest narratives. I never thought a simple dinner gathering could alter the core of my cozy existence. At 57, I had found a comfortable cadence in life. Serene mornings spent in the garden, afternoons immersed in historical novels, and tranquil evenings alongside my husband, Mark. After more than 30 years of marriage, I thought the era of surprises had come to an end for us. How mistaken I was. It began with the simplest of intentions. A Friday evening gathering organized by Mark's longtime associate, Jeff, along with his spouse, Allison. Jeff, a man in his late 40s, exuded charisma and wit, his striking silver hair complementing a confident presence that captivated every room he entered. We had been acquainted for several years, our exchanges primarily confined to corporate gatherings. Allison exuded charm as a host, radiating warmth and grace with ease. I was captivated by her ability to transform even the most basic meals into memorable occasions. Their residence exuded charm, a suburban colonial adorned with precisely manicured hedges and an inviting front porch. Upon entering, we were greeted by the gentle strains of jazz emanating from concealed speakers, perfectly complementing the enticing aroma of garlic roasting and fresh herbs wafting from the kitchen. The dining table was adorned with flickering candles, their warm glow creating gentle, dancing shadows that played upon the walls, which were dressed in soothing shades of beige and pale blue. The warm atmosphere instantly made me feel comfortable. "Step right in, Melanie." "I'm so glad you made it," Allison said, her voice flowing like the smooth jazz melodies enveloping us. She welcomed me with open arms, her authentic warmth easing my anxiety. "Thank you, Allison," I responded, beaming with joy. The aroma in this space is delightful. As the four of us gathered around the dinner table, Jeff poured the wine, his rich voice leading us through amusing stories from his recent travels overseas. The dialogue unfolded effortlessly, with laughter arising naturally. Mark was in high spirits, clearly relishing the chance to relax away from his demanding job. As the dessert was presented, a divine chocolate mousse adorned with raspberries, Jeff's gaze met mine. "Melanie, I learned from Mark that you possess remarkable skills in gardening. I would appreciate some guidance. My roses are not flourishing as I had hoped." I chuckled softly, feeling a warm sense of pride from his recognition. "I wouldn't describe it as talent, Jeff, just a matter of patience. I'd be glad to review it." "Excellent. Maybe following dinner?" His gaze held for a moment, and a gentle heat rose to my cheeks. I dismissed the feeling, certain it was just a figment of my imagination. After dessert, Jeff led me through a sliding door onto a generous patio illuminated by gentle moonlight. The refreshing evening breeze caressed the trees, intertwining with the delicate scent of jasmine flowers wafting from Allison's garden beds. Mark and Allison stayed indoors, fully absorbed in their discussion about potential vacation spots. Jeff guided me to a line of roses, their beauty waning under the soft glow of outdoor lights. He crouched low, studying the leaves intently, and gestured for me to come closer. "Notice how the edges are becoming yellow?" Jeff inquired, his voice now gentler, infused with a sense of authentic curiosity. I inched nearer, suddenly conscious of how close we were. One heartbeat raced unexpectedly. "It seems they could benefit from additional nitrogen," I suggested, working to maintain a calm tone. Jeff faced me, his demeanor a blend of seriousness and warmth. "I must admit, Melanie, I find myself envious of the connection you and Mark share. After 2 decades of marriage, it feels as though Allison and I have grown distant from one another." His unexpected candor took me by surprise. "Every marriage experiences its share of highs and lows, Jeff. It's perfectly fine." He nodded with a contemplative air. "Perhaps it is. However, recently, I sense that something is lacking." The fragility in his gaze struck a profound chord. Just as I was about to reply, his hand grazed softly against mine. The fleeting, pure touch ignited a spark within me, flooding my senses with a blend of remorse and surprising thrill that surged through my body. Apologies slipped from Jeff's lips as he instinctively recoiled, a true sense of embarrassment coloring his tone. I never intended to overstep my bounds. My thoughts wavered, feelings intertwining in a tumultuous dance. My first impulse was to withdraw, yet a more profound urge drove me to extend compassion instead. "It's perfectly fine," I murmured softly, catching myself off guard. "You're simply expressing the truth." Jeff lifted his gaze, a warm sense of appreciation illuminating his striking face. We embraced a serene pause, recognizing the underlying tension softly yet undeniably. I experienced a profound recognition that had eluded me for years, even if I couldn't quite grasp it at that moment. Stepping back indoors had an almost dreamlike quality. Mark's well-known smile brought comfort, yet it bore an unfamiliar heaviness that I couldn't quite identify. I caught sight of Jeff on the other side of the room, observing how he had withdrawn into his own world, keeping a courteous distance. The evening wrapped up on a pleasant note, yet my thoughts lingered, ensnared by the intricate nuances of the events that had unfolded. Later that night, as Mark slept soundly beside me, I found myself gazing at the ceiling, my heart filled with a whirlwind of questions. Was my response merely a reaction to unexpected admiration, or had Jeff stirred something long hidden within me? Could a fleeting instance of connection genuinely disturb the peace I had treasured for years? A wave of discomfort and curiosity washed over me as I recognized that our once pleasant and predictable life now seemed to lack something essential. Amidst the chaos, I felt a profound awakening, akin to a tender bud unfurling to greet the morning light, fragile yet unmistakably vibrant. Unbeknownst to me at the time, this unforeseen evening marked the inception of a journey towards self-discovery, a route brightened by fleeting moments, lingering glances, and the silent bond that Jeff and I had begun to forge. What lay ahead would test every limit we had meticulously established, compelling us both to face realities we had long evaded. And you won't imagine what unfolded next. In the days that followed that unforgettable dinner, my life seemed to remain outwardly the same. Yet beneath the comforting rhythms of my days, morning strolls through the garden, leisurely afternoons spent with tea and a good book, and evenings filled with classic films alongside Mark, a subtle disquiet began to settle in my soul. I often find myself revisiting that moment on the patio, where Jeff's hand lightly grazed mine, accompanied by his surprising confession. Every memory awakened feelings I had almost lost touch with. It had been years since I experienced such a profound sense of being truly seen or desired, even if just for a moment. Yet, underneath the surge of these emotions lay a persistent sense of guilt. Mark was my husband, my eternal companion, and I cherished him deeply. Yet something about Jeff's vulnerability, his openness, had stirred a long-forgotten corner of my heart. On a bright afternoon, I found myself deep in contemplation next to my cherished lilacs, carefully trimming away the faded blooms. The garden typically served as my refuge, a place of serene quiet and clarity, yet today my thoughts would not calm down. "Melanie, there's someone here to see you." Mark's voice called out from the back porch. As I turned, a surge of emotion caught in my throat. Jeff stood beside Mark, dressed in a relaxed blue button-down shirt and jeans, his expression friendly yet measured. My heart raced at once, yet I compelled myself to remain composed, offering him a steady smile in return. "Apologies for the unexpected visit," Jeff said softly, moving closer with care. "I would love to discuss those roses further. However, if you find yourself occupied, it's perfectly all right." I responded swiftly, feeling my voice reveal a trace of enthusiasm. Mark beamed, blissfully ignorant of the tempest brewing silently between Jeff and me. Mark chuckled as he made his way back to the house, leaving the gardening experts to their work. Jeff and I stood together in silence, the air heavy with unexpressed thoughts. Birds sang joyfully in the background, unaware of the underlying tension simmering just below our seemingly calm exterior. At last, Jeff cleared his throat, shattering the quiet tension between us. "Melanie, I wanted to express my apologies once more for the other night." He started softly, with genuine emotion woven into each phrase. "I overstepped, and the weight of that mistake has lingered with me ever since." I examined his face intently, observing the authentic regret reflected in his blue eyes. A peculiar sensation gripped my chest, an odd blend of relief and disappointment swirling together inside me. No need for an apology. I comforted him gently. Nothing occurred. He nodded with deliberation, moving in closer, his voice a soft murmur. Yet, an event did unfold. We both sensed it. My breath hitched as Jeff's eyes held mine with an unwavering intensity. His voice was gentle yet sincere, with every word meticulously selected. "I understand it's not right, Melanie," he admitted softly, "and I've attempted to push it aside, but you occupy my thoughts incessantly. This is the most profound connection I've experienced in a long time." A surge of warmth enveloped me, only to be quickly overtaken by a tide of bewilderment. "Jeff, I'm in a committed relationship, joyfully united in marriage." "Indeed," Jeff replied softly. "And the final thing I desire is to disturb your existence. Yet, I felt it was important for you to understand that you stirred something deep within me. It was an experience I had overlooked, yet it proved to be within the realm of possibility." For a fleeting instant, a profound stillness enveloped us, interrupted solely by the whispering leaves above. My heart pounded fiercely in my chest, caught in a struggle between my allegiance to Mark and the undeniable attraction to Jeff's sincerity. I turned my gaze aside, feelings clashing intensely inside me. "Your honesty means a lot to me," I finally whispered. "Your words resonated with me profoundly. However, we are unable to take action on this. It lacks fairness for all involved." Jeff let out a breath, visibly grappling with his own inner turmoil. He extended his hand with care, enveloping mine softly in his grasp. The warmth enveloped me, a comforting presence, and my fingers naturally curled tighter around his. He assured me gently, "I respect your decision. What I truly seek is your companionship. If that's all we can possess, it suffices." I nodded slowly, yet the fervor in his gaze implied a different story. "Friendship," I murmured, gently letting go of his hand. "Nothing else." The ensuing weeks unfolded with a subtle unrest. Jeff and I shared sporadic messages regarding gardening advice or light conversations about the weather, ensuring we kept our boundaries intact. Each exchange, no matter how fleeting, quietly deepened our connection. I discovered that I was eagerly awaiting his messages, a mix of excitement and fear coursing through me. One evening, Mark casually brought up that Jeff and Allison would be attending a company-sponsored gala event downtown with us. My heart raced at the thought of encountering Jeff once more, this time amidst a bustling crowd where our unspoken tension could become challenging to hide. As night fell, the grand ballroom came to life with gentle melodies, twinkling lights, and elegantly attired couples gliding through the space with poise. Mark led me inside, his hand softly placed on my lower back, offering a sense of comfort while remaining oblivious to the chaos brewing inside me. I noticed Jeff right away from across the room, our eyes locking in an instant, sparking a fire deep within my chest. During dinner, the dialogue unfolded seamlessly among the four of us. Yet beneath the veneer of laughter and courteous conversations, Jeff and I exchanged fleeting, secretive glances. Every glance infused with unspoken desire, every gentle smile holding profound significance. Following the meal, attendees gracefully made their way to the dance floor. Mark, ever the epitome of chivalry, offered his hand to Allison for a delightful dance. With a polite chuckle, they mingled with the other couples under the twinkling lights, leaving Jeff and me in solitude. We paused for a moment as Jeff extended his hand, his voice soft and welcoming. "Is it all right if I?" With a surge of anticipation, I gently placed my hand in his, letting him lead me onto the dance floor. My heart raced as we started to sway softly, the surroundings fading away until it was just Jeff and me. "You look stunning tonight," he murmured, his voice rich with warmth and sincerity. A warm rush spread across my cheeks, and a tightness gripped my throat, catching me off guard with a surge of feeling. "Jeff," I began gently, feeling the treacherous road we were nearing. "We decided to stay friends." He leaned back just a bit, gazing intently into my eyes, his face a blend of softness and resolve. "The bond we share only enhances my appreciation for your remarkable qualities, and it certainly doesn't diminish the depth of my care for you." We pressed on at a deliberate pace, our intimacy a blend of solace and agony. My thoughts shouted for restraint, yet every fiber of my being compelled me to approach this man who seemed to grasp the depths of my concealed identity. Before I knew it, the melody had come to a close. We lingered, locked in each other's eyes, quietly recognizing the fragile line we had stepped over. "I mustn't feel this way," I murmured with a tremor in my voice. Still, I find myself unable to resist. Jeff caressed my cheek softly, his fingertips igniting a thrill that coursed through me. "I understand your position, and we will honor your decision, whatever it may be. I assure you." I withdrew, burdened by a deep sense of yearning and doubt, quietly appreciative of his regard while still tormented by the intensity of our shared emotions. Rejoining Mark, I donned a courteous facade, smiling while quietly contemplating how much longer I could suppress the truth unfurling inside me. Unbeknownst to me, the occurrences of this evening would propel our fragile bond into a more formidable trial, an unforeseen revelation that would irrevocably alter the course of our existence. What unfolded next will leave you utterly astonished. Weeks drifted by, each one deepening the quiet ache and uncertainty within my heart. I made every effort to stifle my emotions, to hide them under layers of gardening tasks, early strolls, and regular dinners with Mark. Yet Jeff's words resonated gently within me, awakening aspects of myself I hadn't recognized in years. On a rainy afternoon, while I sifted through old photographs in our snug sitting room, the familiar chime of my phone caught me off guard. My heart raced, recognizing instinctively who it was. Jeff's message was concise but impactful. "Melanie, may we have a conversation?" I assure you, it holds significance. My breath caught in my throat, a blend of unease and eager expectation swirling within me. After a brief pause, I responded, "Absolutely. Where might that be?" He proposed we gather at a Serene coffee shop on the outskirts of town, a place where we could converse in private while still being in a public setting that honored our commitments. I consented, my heart racing with doubt, my mind conflicted yet eager to grasp the depth of his insistence. The cafe exuded warmth and charm, enveloped in the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the gentle murmur of hushed dialogues. Jeff sat at a hidden table in the corner, his hands tightly clasped, his eyes reflecting an intensity one had never encountered before. "I appreciate you taking the time to meet," he said softly, motioning for me to take a seat. He appeared taut yet profoundly determined, his demeanor grave. "What is it, Jeff?" I inquired gently, my anxiety just beneath the surface. "Did something occur?" He let out a deep sigh, his fingers brushing through his silver hair, his eyes reflecting a profound sorrow. "Allison is aware." A sudden jolt coursed through me, my heart pounding with fear. "Is aware? What is it about?" "We?" Jeff gave a slow nod. "She felt an unusual presence at the gala. She faced me yesterday. I was unable to deceive you, Melanie. I shared all my thoughts with her. My emotions are exchanges, despite the fact that nothing has truly occurred." A frigid dread seized my heart, anxiety swelling within me. "Jeff, I find myself at a loss for words." "You don't need to say a word," he comforted softly, his eyes filled with a silent plea. Allison and I reached a significant consensus. I felt it was important to communicate candidly with you and outline the next steps. "What follows?" I murmured softly, a wave of anxiety washing over me at the thought of losing the tranquil existence I had so diligently safeguarded. Jeff grasped my hand softly, calming my quivering fingers. His touch brought solace, even as it deepened my inner chaos. I assured Allison that I would honor any decision you choose to make. "Melanie, should you decide to leave, I assure you I will understand. However, if you experience even a fraction of what I feel, then we must confront it with sincerity." His honesty was unmistakable, and his openness was profoundly touching. Emotion welled up within me as I fought to articulate my thoughts. "Jeff, you've awakened emotions I believed were long forgotten. However, Mark has been my entire world for more than 3 decades. He grasped my hand softly, the fire of desire illuminating his gaze. "I understand. I would never request you to compromise that trust. But can you truly refute the bond we discovered? Shouldn't it be recognized at the very least?" My heart throbbed, caught in a tumultuous struggle between devotion and desire. In my heart, I understood that Jeff had a point. The deep connection we had established, subtly yet intensely, couldn't just disappear. We were obligated to be honest with ourselves and our partners. After a lengthy silence, I articulated my thoughts with caution, my voice trembling with sincerity. I cannot ignore the emotions that stir within me. You've brought to light aspects of myself that I had nearly lost touch with. However, the thought of causing Mark pain fills me with dread. I wish to keep him close, while also being mindful of Allison's feelings. Jeff nodded, a profound comprehension reflected in his expression. I share that sentiment. However, I am convinced that concealing the truth ultimately causes greater pain. Perhaps embracing honesty will guide us all in determining our next steps. We lingered in contemplative quiet, taking in the gravity of his statements. Outside, the rain gently tapped on the cafe windows, echoing our serene contemplation. I finally whispered that I needed to talk with Mark, a mix of relief and terror washing over me with the admission. He is entitled to the truth. Jeff held my hand with a comforting grip, then let it go softly. No matter what unfolds, Melanie, I will stand by your side, whether as a companion or something deeper. I won't rush you, but remember that you're not facing this by yourself. We separated with a silent acknowledgement, feelings intertwined yet distinct. As I navigated the somber, drizzly streets on my way home, I mentally prepared for the conversation that filled me with apprehension, yet I understood it was unavoidable. Mark was entitled to the truth, regardless of the pain it might cause. That evening, following dinner, as we sat in serene companionship in the living room, I gathered my courage to break the silence. My heart raced wildly, a surge of anxiety swelling inside me. Mark, I need to speak with you. I started softly, my voice revealing my unease. He gently set down his newspaper, regarding me with a hint of worry in his eyes. Is everything okay, Melanie? I inhaled deeply, my heart heavy as I gazed into his familiar, reassuring eyes. Recently, an unexpected event occurred. There was no physical connection, yet emotionally, I found myself captivated by another person. His expression changed rapidly from bewilderment to a subdued pain. His voice carried a softness, but there was an underlying tension. Jeff. Taken aback by his insight, I nodded slowly, a sense of guilt constricting my heart. Absolutely. Mark let out a long breath, his gaze far away but steady. At the gala, I observed something intriguing. The way he gazed at you, and the way you returned his gaze. I never intended for this to unfold. I implored gently, tears streaming down my face. You have been everything to me, Mark. My affection for you knows no bounds. Yet, this sensation has stirred something deep within me. It was something profound, and I needed to speak the truth. He observed me with a contemplative gaze, a subtle melancholy reflected in his eyes. After a brief pause, he extended his hand towards mine with a soft touch, catching me off guard. Your honesty is truly valued, Melanie. You had the option to keep this from me, yet you chose not to. That is significant. His reply caught me off guard, amplifying the remorse that weighed on my heart. Mark, I deeply apologize. He shook his head, his voice low but resolute. There's no need to say sorry for simply being yourself. 3 decades is quite an extensive period. Affection evolves, individuals develop. I am indeed feeling pain. However, I comprehend. Truthfulness is something you are entitled to as well. My heart shattered softly, engulfed by his elegance and kindness. I'm uncertain about my next steps. I find myself adrift. Mark grasped my hand softly, exhaling with a sense of weight. Allow yourself a moment. Discover what your heart genuinely desires. Regardless of the circumstances, my wish for you is to find joy. His compassion broke through my defenses, overwhelming me with gratitude while simultaneously deepening my sorrow. In that moment, I understood the profound depth of our connection, rooted in Mark's steadfast respect for me as an individual. We sat in silence, the soft ticking of the clock serving as a reminder of how transient, delicate, and invaluable our lives truly are. No matter what choice lay ahead, I understood that Mark's kindness had transformed everything, unlocking opportunities one had never dreamed could exist. As the tranquil evening slipped into the gentle embrace of night, I realized that the most challenging decisions lay before me. The journey ahead may be unpredictable, yet truth has illuminated the way, guiding one toward genuine self-exploration and development. Yet nothing could have equipped me for what unfolded next, a climactic revelation that would irrevocably change the course of all our lives. In the weeks after that candid, emotionally charged discussion with Mark, life assumed an almost dreamlike essence. Every day seemed delicate, hanging in the balance between the solace of what once was and the unpredictability of what lies ahead. Mark and I engaged in a candid conversation about our emotions, anxieties, and aspirations, exploring depths we hadn't touched in years. In an unexpected twist, our openness brought us nearer, paradoxically strengthening our connection despite the ambiguity of what lay ahead. Jeff and Allison embarked on a journey toward understanding, opting for counseling to delve into their intricate feelings. Jeff and I decided to keep our distance during this sensitive time, allowing ourselves the freedom to truly contemplate without any pressure or expectations. On a bright afternoon, as I nurtured my garden, the sanctuary that consistently offered me clarity, Mark quietly came over, carrying 2 cups of tea. He settled next to me, softly offering the warm mug. "Melanie." He started with caution, his voice calm and soothing. "I've been reflecting quite a bit." I examined his features, perceiving a blend of resilience and fragility beneath the surface. "Same here." Mark smiled gently, his comforting presence soothing my nerves. I came to an important realization. Our union is founded on love, intertwined with friendship, respect, and honesty. Perhaps, after all this time, we should create space for one another to seek joy, even if it requires welcoming transformation. Tears welled up in my eyes at his vulnerability. "What do you mean, Mark?" He grasped my hand gently, his expression radiating genuine sincerity. "I'm expressing my love by allowing you the freedom to discover what your heart genuinely wants, even if it involves giving you the room to explore your bond with Jeff. No matter the circumstances, you are worthy of joy." We both share that sentiment. As I sit in my garden, enveloped by the vibrant flowers that sway softly in the warm breeze, I grasp the profound truth of our journey. Life, akin to my garden, demands bravery, perseverance, and a willingness to embrace transformation. Connections go beyond mere habit or obligation. They are molded by genuine connection, empathy, and honor. At times, what appears unattainable initially guides us to precisely the destination we are destined for. I cast my eyes toward the dwelling where Mark engages in easy conversation with Jeff and Allison, their laughter floating gently in my direction.